So we're going to get started in just about a minute. While we're waiting, if you'd like to just type your name in the library in the chat box, you could say hello to your colleagues that are in the meeting, and we'll be starting momentarily. All right. Well, thanks everybody for introducing yourselves in the chat box. That's great. We're gonna get started. We do have a little bit of a time constraint for Jennifer. She's fitting us in before story time. So we'll just start with the introductions, and we're gonna pop over to Jennifer, and then we'll go back to our overview. So again, I'm Darlene Swistock from the Buckles office, and I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today and also volunteering to serve on a Buckles committee. So what we'll do is I'd like to introduce Dave Hansen, who's the Executive Director of Buckles, to talk for a moment.
Good morning, and I hope everybody is nice and warm this morning. I know we're gradually warming up. Hopefully we'll have a great time. We're very thankful that you have taken the time to learn a little bit more about committees today. There are two distinct pieces of Buckles. There is sort of the admin side of things, which is kind of what we do here at the office. We take care of a lot of stuff for everybody, and that's awesome and great. And then there's what we call the association part. And the association part is where you guys get to stretch your wings as library workers and really talk about what we call in our mission statement, shared professional development. This is your opportunity to get in, work on some issues, meet other folks, and really make yourself into a better professional while helping us shape a brighter future for Buckles. So thank you very much for being here today. We look forward to the conversation and hopefully be able to answer anything that you have. But thanks again for making the effort to be part of your association.
Great. Thank you, Dave. And I'd also like to introduce Mimi Hoy, who is the director at Hasbrook Heights and the Buckles president, to say a few words as well.
Thank you so much, Darlene. It's always a pleasure to see everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for expressing your interest in joining a Buckles committee. You know, one of the cornerstones of Buckles is the camaraderie and the strength of the skills of your fellow colleagues. So I'm excited that you're here this morning, and I just want to say thank you. There's always room on the committee. You can always, there's 17 committees, believe it or not, and depth and breadth of Buckles is really a credit to our members. So I just want to say thank you. If you have any questions, my door is always open. Please feel free to send me a question or, stop by and ask a fellow colleague or speak to your director. So thank you.
Thank you, Mimi. And now I'd like to introduce Jennifer Kelly Maloney from Waldwick. This is Jennifer's second year on a Buckles committee, and she now has signed up in her second year to be a co-chair. So Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us your experience being on the Youth Services Committee, why you decided to be a co-chair this year, and if you could just touch upon how the tasks are assigned at the Youth Services Committee, just to give everyone an idea, that would be great.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So last year I finally did, after 8 years here at Waldwick, decide to join a committee. I had a high school up to then, so when my son went to college, I found I had more time that I could do it. Though you will find that really there isn't that much outside time that you have to dedicate to it, depending on the committee. So it's definitely something that is very time manageable. You can do as much or as little as you'd like to sign up for, but it's a great chance to network with other people. I've met so many other great youth services librarians. We do have a mix on youth services of teen librarians, children's librarians, and librarians who do everything. But it's a great chance to get to know everybody. What we do in youth services to assign out the tasks is we have a spreadsheet and you actually self-sign up to do things. So it's not like we're putting you on the spot going, you're going to do this, right? We actually let you sign up for the different things that we have. We share a couple of programs a month with each other. We do a newsletter. We do topical book lists. We hold one social event a year. We have a boot camp, which is professional development that we run every year. This coming year, we're looking to do kind of a performer showcase one, which should be a lot of fun. Last year, we did a diversity one. It's a great way to get new ideas. It's a great way to talk to people about their experiences at other libraries. For instance, youth services, we hire a lot of the performers. It is 100% very helpful to find out if you have people that don't show up or don't give you what you paid for, or somebody that's amazing. So it's just a great chance to get out and talk to people and get new ideas. I mean, I've been a children's librarian since 1999, and I love finding out about a new program maybe I didn't think of. It's great to get fresh ideas off of other people. We have people from all different lengths of time being librarians on the committee, but it's been very, very valuable year. I did agree to be co-chair for this coming year. One of the two co-chairs is stepping down. Definitely helpful in my decision that the other co-chair is staying. So I'm not trying to do this from scratch. I'm working with somebody who's been doing this a couple of years, and it should be good.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for
Oh, you're
stepping up
welcome.
as a co-chair, especially in your second year, and also for, again, fitting us in between your story time. We appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a quick overview of some of the details about the committees, and hopefully I will be able to share my screen. Okay, hopefully everyone's seeing that.
We are
Not
not,
yet.
Darlene.
Okay. Okay, is that better?
Now we see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so just to give you an idea, this year the committee year is running February 1st to the 31st. Normally it's a calendar year, but per the Buckles bylaws, the committees have to be approved by the executive board, which will be taking place at the executive board meeting on Thursday. So we're looking forward to the committee starting off on the 1st. As Mimi said, we have 17 committees. We added the delivery committee this year. Each committee has either a co-chair or a chair and the committee members. And again, some of the committees are limited to directors. Staff can join most of the committees, and we do have friends and trustees supporting our committee work as well. We try to assign our directors and staffers to their first and second choice whenever possible. And again, sometimes some of the committees are limited to who can join. So that's the reason why some of the decisions were made. Some of our committees are primarily engaged with hosting programs and events, and you could see the list there. Other committees primarily focus on different initiatives and projects, and you can see the committees that are involved in that. We've also in the past have convened task forces, which are set up to handle a special project or a task, and then that committee is sunset. So you can see some examples of committees, task forces that have been implemented in the past. This year, delivery comes back as a committee. Previously, when delivery was launched, it was set up as a task force. So the committee charges are determined by the Buckles president and the Buckles executive director. A lot of them align with the Buckles strategic plan. Committees typically meet on a monthly basis, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the committee. And we do ask and work with our committee chairs to try to schedule all of their events in advance. This way, everyone knows when the committees are meeting and when the events are happening. And committee chairs and the committees make a decision whether or not to meet virtually. in person and have a hybrid option. Most of the committees are currently still meeting virtually. A few do offer a hybrid option, so it makes it pretty easy for people to attend. Again, if you have any scheduling conflicts, please let your committee chair know, and they will work with you. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And again, just welcome everyone who's come to the today's meeting. Most of you have already signed up for a committee. We did also extend the invitation for anyone who's not sure and wanted to hear more about committee work. So welcome to you as well. And we do have a few committee members who are in their second year that we've asked to join us today and share their experiences on the committee. So I would like to introduce our second year committee members, just to introduce themselves, let you know what library they're from, what committee they're on, and what they would like to share as far as their experience being on a Buckles committee. So if we could start with Leo Bellino.
Hi, hi. My name is Leo Bellino, and I'm the director in North Arlington. And this is my second year on the LAMP committee, and I really enjoyed my experience on the LAMP committee last year so much so that I want to be on it again this year. It's just overall, it's just a great feeling of working with your colleagues and getting to know them better. You know, you go to System Council and various other Buckles events, and you don't have much time to get to know people. So this was a great opportunity to get to know people, work a little bit more closely with them. It was a great opportunity to get to work with Darlene. That I was always interested in working with Darlene. And I just feel like the work that the LAMP committee does is really important for the Buckles community. And yeah, I just really enjoyed my time. I felt like it was very well organized, and everybody, you know, the experience was great as far as getting to know everybody. Everybody has a great personality and loves libraries. So it was a no-brainer. I almost wish I had done it sooner.
Great. Thank you, Leo. Maria Kelly.
Apologies, my screen just went down momentarily, so I've been troubleshooting trying to fix it, and I wouldn't have been able to unmute myself, so it would have looked very strange, but here I am. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for including me on this. And unfortunately, my screen went down, Darlene, as you asked the question, so as I was troubleshooting, I didn't hear what the question was. So if you wouldn't mind repeating for me.
Oh, no worries at all. It was just a general comment. If you could introduce yourself, let people know what committee you're on and what has been your committee experience so far. So I think you're also a second year committee person.
Okay, thank you. My name is Maria Kelly. I'm the Adult Services Librarian here at Karlstad Library. I've been in this position, I've been in this position about 2.5 years and a librarian for just over 1 year. I just graduated December 2023. But yes, I've been a member of the Adult Services Committee, and if I'm biased, I only have the experience with the one committee, but if I'm biased, it's a really excellent committee to join. If anyone is joining and wondering about a committee, it's great. There's terrific leadership on it. We have Cara Scott from TNEC is one of the co-chairs, and also Andrew Simeone from Cliffside Park, and also Darlene is on the committee. So there's really terrific leadership. So if you're trying to get an intro to committees, you know, that one is very organized, very well set up, and it attracts, the committee is made up from everyone from librarians to people on circ staff. So there's a broad range of expertise on the committee, and it's a good one to kind of learn how committees work. So you really can participate as much or as little as you want to. I mean, obviously it's better, the more you participate, the better. But, you know, we work on a rotating schedule, taking meeting minutes, and it's kind of, we also run a spreadsheet of things you can volunteer. And apologies, my screen just went down again, but I think you can still hear me.
Mm-hmm.
But we run on a rotating schedule. There are things you can sign up for and you're not just assigned. So I took a lot of this time this year just learning how a committee works and just, kind of listening to people who have more experience than me. And we meet virtually once a month, the second Tuesday of the month. It's at 2 p.m. And then at the end of the year, we had an in-person meeting, which was really nice to be able to see people face to face and just have that networking experience.
Excellent. Thank you, Maria. Sandra, could we ask you to speak next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Sandra Michelson, and I am the Adult Program Coordinator at Roseland Public Library. I joined Adult Services last year after I was very apprehensive. I'm going to be very honest. I was apprehensive. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to handle the workload because we're a very small library. And a lot of times we have to fill in, it's, like many other people do, and I'm sure many people can relate to this. So I was apprehensive because I wanted to commit myself, of course, 100% into it. And I was a little nervous that I wasn't going to be able to handle everything. And I was pleasantly surprised at how wonderful of an experience that it was for me. So a lot of positive takeaways. Maria was just very thorough in explaining the committee, so I'm not going to go into those things again, but I will tell you, for me, it's been a wonderful resource. It's been a wonderful way to network, which is very important, I believe. It's very important to see what is going on around us and be informed. Being informed is just, the way that we can inform others. So, I feel that for me, I've one of the takeaways, has been just listening to other people's experiences, things that have worked out positively for them, things that they would not recommend, being a part of, really feeling like you're part of the consortia by talking to your fellow library workers. I think that's something for me that was a really big takeaway. I really felt more connected. Again, it's very convenient being able to attend these meetings virtually. And even though some of the topics of discussions don't relate to me, particularly in my job roles, being present in these meetings helps me to, pass that information along to others in my library who it could be useful for. So it's been an overall wonderful experience. I decided to join again, and I am happy that I made the choice. And I also wish that I did sooner. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And last we have Mariah.
Morning, everyone. I'm Mariah Texador. I'm from Wallington. I'm the Senior Library Assistant and Head of Adult Services. It's going to be my second year in Adult Services Committee. Completely echo and resonate with everything Maria and Sandra have said thus far. The environment is just very welcoming and energetic. We have wonderful co-chairs and Darlene. And I think the biggest takeaway for me so far was just how incredibly resourceful it's been to basically bounce ideas off of everyone, but also have the shared experiences and also see what it takes to put together these events that are available to the whole consortia. Like we did the conflict resolution event. It was just very eye-opening. And I also, as a new person in the library world, it allowed me to see what's just also going on in libraries in the state, because a lot of the folks on the committee are librarians and abreast of what's going on. So we've shared those kinds of resources with each other. And it's kind of cool to see how the sausage gets made in a way for some of the resources I was using, like the Read, Watch, Listen, to help me make displays and find recommendations for my patrons, and then being a part of the committee that puts that together and making it work with my workload. So it's been really positive, which made me led me to come again, even though I was very hesitant to do it because I was worried about my workload. But in the end scheme of it all, I really enjoyed my time on that committee, and it wasn't really that much more work. It was just you sign up for what you wanted to, partake in, and you don't put more than what you could do. So, yeah.
Thanks, Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
So we received some questions when people let us know that they were coming to the orientation. So we're just going to go through, answer some general questions about committees and committee member expectations and responsibilities. After we go through these questions, if anybody does have any other questions, feel free to type them in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you could ask the question. So we'll start off with, how are priorities, also known as charges, developed for committees going into the new year? So Ms. President, could you tackle that one for us?
Certainly, Darlene. Please, definitely repeat the question, and they'll give me another minute to be able to respond.
Okay. How are priorities, also known as charges, developed for the committee going into the new year?
You know what? As the incoming Buckles president, I really rely on the prior president to, we meet and we talk. We look at the priorities that have been set for the calendar year, but we also look at some of the issues that Buckles are facing, and we do our best to set those goals. I work with the Buckles office. Dave and I have had conversations together, and I'm very grateful for the Buckles staff for being there and helping to steer the course of the year and events. So when it comes to charges, I review those charges and the committee work that has been done thus far. And I've never been more prouder of all the work and laying the foundation of the committee work and continuing it. So again, those charges have been set by prior presidents, but also I'd like to help further the growth of our membership. So it's not too hard, but we do like to adjust the course sometimes from year to year.
Great. Thank you, Mimi. Dave, could you give us some examples of work that the committees have accomplished?
Sure. I think some of your committee members have talked already about some of the really cool things. We'll talk in terms of sort of three kinds of things that committees work on. On a professional development level, many of our committees are really dedicated to helping you become better at library. And so one of the things that I always point out is that Youth Services Boot Camp that happens every year. I mean, that's something we do a lot of at the committee level, which is really focused on how we can make committee members better at what they do. And I think that's one of the things as you're looking at committees, asking yourself, what am I looking for? That's a great kind of a concept to think about. There's another level of committee that we, think about in the governments. If you think about the governance of Buckles, you have committees, then you have executive board, and then you have system council. And at every executive board meeting, we have committee reports, and committees come to us with things that they wish us to act upon. Our most active committee is the Policies and Procedures Committee, which is the book everybody probably knows about how we are with each other, what it means, when you have to do this, when you have to do that, all those things. That's actually a committee, right? And they come to us almost every executive board with a little bit of a change or something they've been thinking about, right? And so when we get some action like that, it comes to the executive board, and the executive board considers it. And if the executive board thinks this is a reasonable request from a committee, they will actually refer it. They'll pass it out of executive board, and it goes to system council, and it goes to system council, and if system council takes up the matter, it has to pass by a 2/3 majority. So 2/3 of all the member libraries have to do this. So we have a lot of committee work that goes along here. This will go, as I said, policies and procedures, but it also happens along the way. The reason we use OCLC is because of committee work. They went a look at a bunch of products and they passed it all the way up. The reason we have a delivery system is because there was a committee assigned to take a look, make a recommendation, goes to executive board and does those other things. The third kind of thing that I think when we think about committee work is committees can do really cool events. Every year we have the Buckles Brunch now, I think is what we call it. And it raises money for scholarships, which are, some of you may have been helped by that scholarship fund. And so they do a really big event. Some of the other events that we've done, Membership Services Committee, if you're looking for a really fun time, they're really charged with making opportunity for people to come together and have a good time with each other. The other one I'll point out is the Diversified and Underserved. They, for the last 2 years, have done a one-book project with the Bergen County commissioners in which they've highlighted different types of groups within society that maybe struggle a little bit to get some purchase. And so we've been able to assign a biography so folks are invited to read a little bit about what that community is facing. So those are some of the things that I think committees can do and often will do, and kind of go from we're really working on the individual all the way to we're celebrating in a really, really big fashion. So hope that helps.
Thanks, Dave. Mimi, to segue into that, do the committees ever work together or do they always work independently of each other?
Oh, absolutely. We love collaboration. A lot of times there are committee work that they pollinate. They like to work together, come together. I know in the past, LAMP and the Friends and the Trustee Development Committee work together on big projects. So such as what Dave mentioned when it comes to the Friends Brunch, raising awareness and supporting our profession. Also, there are other committees that they come together. I know if there's some really hard issues to talk about, sometimes I know adult services have collaborated with other, sometimes tag teaming recently with DUPE and youth services together with projects and getting their point across. So there's always different various things, but committees all work together for the good of the benefit of the membership.
Good. Okay. And Dave, just to piggyback on what you said before about P&P, how would people acquire knowledge of some of the Buckles policies?
I think your first stop is Buckles Connect. I mean, that's where we keep the policies and procedures manual, right? I know Joseph's going to talk about it just a little bit, but I mean, I guess the question kind of is, it depends on what kind of policy you're looking for. I mean, there is sort of a, there is an actual sort of free word search that you can go through and take a look at it, in context of, I guess, I don't know exactly the context. We usually get policy questions within the context of, hey, I want a specific circulation, what do I have to do? In the context of committees, right? This is what I'll say in general for the policies of Buckles and the committees, because it's kind of a get to know you committee kind of thing. Just so you all know, all your committee meetings are open to any member of the consortium, meaning, let's say I'm a youth services person and an adult services person wants to come sit in and just see what's happening at the meeting. You can't really ask them to leave. I know adult services people are cool too. We got 2 of them here today, so they're more than welcome to come and participate in any of our committee meetings. There's only a couple of committee meetings that are doing things that we really can't have folks around for. But for the vast majority of our committees, if you want to pop in and just kind of hang out and see what's going on in the committees, the other thing that policies really touch on committees is committees. There are some committees that are sort of charged with doing things. This goes back to the charge that it is. But committees, for the most part, are limited in what they can do sort of beyond that charge. So when we think about policies and we think about what a committee can do, they are limited to the extent that if, for instance, they want to spend money on something, right? So if a committee wants to spend money on food or a speaker or something, you're going to have to get, approval to do some of those things. So 2 different things. Overall policies, Buckles Connect's your way to go. If you're looking for policies perspective to the committees, I think those are the big ones to really be thinking about.
Great, thank you. And Joseph, as Dave said, we will be getting an overview of Buckles Connect from you. Is there anything regarding accessing files that you would like to say now, or do you want to save that all for your demo?
I'll go over that when I show Buckles Connect. That way
Okay.
it makes more sense.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, and then we also had some questions about, let's call it committee member life. So Dave, back to you. Could you, again, just talk about the role of a Buckles committee member?
All right. So let's start at a very high level. So when we get together to consider things, and that's really what you're doing. If you think about what a committee is, you are being placed in a group and you have something what we call standing. So everything's governed by Robert's Rules of Order. I know sometimes we're a little more informal in our committees than possibly we are at the executive board level and certainly at the system council level. But there's something called standing. And what standing really means is that you are assigned to a group of people, and as you consider whatever it is in front of you, whether it be how we're going to create a professional development program, whether it's how we're going to create a bigger program to raise awareness for, say, the scholarship program, or in the case of many committees that we're actually making a recommendation to change the course of how the consortium does its business, the only people in the room that actually can speak or have to be acknowledged by the chair of your committee are the people with standing. And those standing members are just you. By the way, your liaison, though a great source of support and often called upon, does not have standing in your committee, right? If the chair decides they didn't want to call on them, I've never had a chair do that. But if a chair decided, they're different from you. They don't have what we call standing. And what that means is when we get to that point, and most committees probably don't get to the point where they have to vote on a lot of things and there's a lot of questions about which way it's going to go or whatever it's going to be. But when you do take action out of a committee, we do think it's a really good idea to formally take action. Somebody motions, somebody seconds, we have a discussion, and then we vote on it. And when you vote on it, this is when standing comes into play. That the people who are really supposed to be voting on the things that are coming out of committee are only the committee members. So like I said, any member of Buckles could show up at any committee at any time, right? And they can be in the meeting, and if they have something to say and the chair decides, we'll let you speak, the chair can absolutely let them speak. When it comes to actual decision-making, actual decision-making, that's where we really want that committee member. That's only for those with standing. Now, the other thing that you get is there's a reverse clause to that, which is if you're on a committee, you are in standing. It's a very important role. We want to make sure you're attending those committee meetings, right? And when you're attending those committee meetings on a regular basis, that's what you're signing up to do. Now, I think you've heard some folks talk about, I was really worried, it's going to be a lot, it's going to be a lot. Many committees have virtual options, so if that's a thing that you have to really consider, make sure you're thinking about that as you're going. Some committees want to meet in person. Again, something you have to do. If we find that somebody is unable to make a good chunk of the meetings, you're going to have to think about whether or not that person should continue in on that committee. And I think that's one of those responsibilities as a committee member that you really need to take seriously. When I'm going on to that committee, it's important that I'm there to share and process all the things that we're doing as a committee. And if you can't, it's okay. I want to just tell you, life happens for everybody, right? And if you find yourself in the middle of a committee, you're saying, hey, look, I've got this really big thing. I am not going to really be able to participate. There is no problem in contacting us and saying, hey, I can't serve out, right? Conversely, if you get into the committee here and you're like, hey, I think this is really cool. I'd like to join another committee. Maybe I set in on something. I'd like to join things. You can join mid-year. It's possible to join mid-year as well. So all we're saying is if you're going to be a part of that committee, just remember everybody else is a part of that committee too. And we want to make sure that you're participating because who knows what you're going to be asked to do. Who knows what's in front of you? Who knows what you're going to be doing? And we want to make sure that everybody's got the oar in the water and pulling the boat in the same direction so that we have great outcomes, okay? I hope that helps a little bit, thinking about what your responsibility and what your role and your standing is.
Great. Thank you, Dave. Leo, could you share your experience? What sort of experience is necessary to join a committee, and what value that someone who's new can bring to a committee?
Okay. Well, going back 9 years to when I first became the director and I was first asked to be on a committee, I said no because I had only been a part-time youth service librarian for 2 years, just became a director and wasn't even sure that I was going to continue to be a director if I didn't even know what a director did. So I didn't see what I could contribute to a committee at my experience level. And now that I've joined a committee last year, I realized that you can join a committee at any stage in your experience as a librarian or as a library director. It really doesn't matter. It's not really based on your experience. It's more what you can contribute and offer as an individual, which is, the second part of the question is what can you bring to a committee? And I think it's just that. Everybody brings a unique life experience, unique gifts, unique talents, and a new perspective to the committee. So just for the simple fact that you are you, that is what you're bringing to the committee, whatever that entails.
Thank you, Leo. And Maria, could you just elaborate a little bit more on the expectations for committee work and the time constraints that time commitments that you experienced on adult services?
Really, as I said before, it's really up to you how much you can contribute. Obviously, the more time you put in, the greater it is for everyone. But obviously, the meeting happens once a month virtually, so there's no kind of travel time involved in that. It's usually kept to a 1-hour meeting, so one a month. And then someone does volunteer monthly to take the meeting minute notes, and it rotates. Every month someone else volunteers. I think in years past, it used to be one person was assigned for the entire year, but now it's on a rotation basis. And then there's also different things you can sign up to be part of. We do the read, watch, listen lists. We also there's Cara puts out a newsletter and she invites people to, submit content or, book suggestions, program suggestions, any kind of, thing you can cobble together and send her. And then she also invites people to kind of give the newsletter a once over and help her edit it and check the links. And then we do, obviously it's, just been 1 year for me on the committee so far, but we do some professional development. We did the conflict resolution program that was on in Hasbrook Heights Library, which was very successful. So, there's lots of different ways to be involved, and kind of like as Leo said, I was hesitant to join, but it's really, kind of wondering what I can contribute, but it's really, everybody's got something, and, it's kind of everyone's difference and experience or lack of it. It's, you might bring experience from a different job. And my screen crashed again, so I may be mute.
All right, you did fine. Thank you. And Sandra, could you talk about what a new committee member could do to get off to a good start when they join a committee?
Sure. I would say to get off to a good start, you should familiarize yourself with the meetings, procedures, and the expectations of the committee. Review the minutes, take a look at the most recent minutes thoroughly. Learn about the projects, like for instance, being on adult services, Maria just mentioned the projects that we do, like the read, watch, listen, and stuff like that. So for me, those were the things that I did. I think it could be very helpful to meet with the chairs of the committee to familiarize yourself with them. And so, on our committee, our chairs are so friendly, so extremely helpful, so welcoming. So it's definitely, I'm sure it's the same in other committees, and definitely a pleasant experience. I would also say, introduce yourself to other members, let them know who you are, where you're from, what you do. That's also very helpful in networking and being a part of the committee. Pay attention, participate when you can in the discussions, ask questions, if you don't know what's going on or if you feel confused. And I feel like that those are really good things to follow in order to be successful in a committee.
Good things to keep in mind. And Mariah, can you talk about, again, your experience if committee members collaborate and if they want new ideas, or does the committee just have a set agenda?
Yeah, so we do have an agenda every meeting. They go over old business, bringing up new business. But what has been really valuable as well is at the end of the meetings, it's room to discuss whatever is on our minds, or if anyone has questions they want to pose to the group to get feedback or just general help with. We've done that for when talking about like newspapers and magazines in our collections. We're talking about programming, we're talking about language learning. It's been a variety of topics, but it's not always just the agenda. There's always room for something else to be discussed. So that's part of the participating and asking questions and getting to know your other committee members as well.
Good, thank you. Mimi, we had a question. Can I work on different committees each year, or do I automatically stay on the same committee the next year?
That's a great question. It's really up to you. I always say you don't have to stay on the same committee all the time. You could give a try. I usually work with the Buckles office from year to year. For this year, we had looked at the membership, the makeup of the committee members. So please, that's why we do ask for your first choice, second choice, and third choice. Those are taken into consideration. Sometimes if you are dying to serve on two committees, hey, I'm all for it. The more the merrier. Please. That is always, what you put in is what you're going to get out. And the networking and camaraderie is so key in shaping your career and your investment for our membership. So believe me, there's a lot of talent and creativity, and we welcome it across all committees. So yes, to answer your question, you can serve on more than just one committee.
Great, excellent. And then we're just going to go ask our second year committee members just to give their thoughts on the benefit of being on a committee and what's in it for me. If you have anything else that you would like to add. So the infamous what's in it for me. Leo?
So there's two things that I felt was a benefit for me. Like I said, I go to system councils and I go to Buckles events and I get to briefly talk to colleagues and Darlene, and I kind of wanted to get to know people a little bit better. And I felt like a committee was a great place to do that. And it was accomplished. And I enjoyed people's banter and just that camaraderie. And then the second thing was I kind of wanted to see, it was like always a mystery, like salary survey goes out every year, but like, how does it go out? And where is it kept and all that stuff? And I didn't know it was a committee that was in charge of sending it out. And, just seeing what goes on behind the scenes and in the back end of everything. Like I attended the civil service progressive discipline course, and that whole thing was planned out by the LAMP committee, Darlene and Tara and Jenny, like just seeing how all the different parts come together to plan an event like that was really informative and actually a lot of fun.
Great, good. Thank you. Maria? I wonder if we lost Maria. Okay, we'll come back to Maria. Sandra?
So, I guess, like I said before, I think what I took away the most was the networking portion of it. I really enjoyed, meeting other people from different libraries, hearing their perspectives, hearing their professional opinions, hearing what they're doing, and really feeling a part of a community, of a bigger community outside of my library. That's, I mean, that along with everything else that, everyone else has said so far. So, yes, like I said, overall, very positive experience for me.
Good, glad to hear that. Maria, are you back online? Okay. And Tatiana? I'm sorry, Mariah.
Yeah, piggybacking off of what Sandra was saying, meeting other people in the library world, as I've a new person in libraries, period, as a library worker, I've been thinking possibly going for my master's, and it's been really helpful to just have more people to pose that question of like, what made you decide? What were you considering? Where did you go? How did you like it? And there's only if I stuck to like just where I'm at and not meeting new people, I would have a poll of maybe 2 people to ask that question to. But I've been able to get to know a few adult services members, and even they've introduced me to other people to share their experiences. And so again, the networking is super duper helpful, and it just lends to the helpful sharing nature that I've found is very common in the library world.
Right. Glad you have had a good experience. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. You could type it in the chat box. And we'll give that 1 minute, and then we're going to segue into Joseph Palmer and an overview on Buckles Connect and how it helps support the committees. So if anybody has any questions, again, feel free to type in the chat box. You could always email me afterwards, and I'll have the person who can provide the answer get back to you. So if you think of anything else after the fact, please don't hesitate to reach out. So I don't see any unmuting. I don't see any questions at the moment. So let me turn it over to Joseph Palmer and Buckles Connect overview.
Excellent. Thank you, Darlene. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick overview of some of the things we highlighted today, and also what we've done for committees for this new year. The first thing I want to point out is when you log into Buckles Connect, you will see the policies and procedures manual right here. So you see a link right here. You can click on that and get to the full manual. And then you can also see it broken down by section. So I know we were talking about policies and procedures earlier. I just wanted to point that out for you. You can also find that under pages. You'll see a page group labeled policies and procedures. You can also do a search in the top search bar, and you can search basically anything you can, because we use AI search, and it is proprietary to Happy or to Buckles Connect. You can literally write a question, and it will answer your question for you and help you find the documents. As long as you are, as long as you have your integration set up for your Google Drive, your Gmail, your calendar, it will search everything beyond the platform as well. So it'll look at everything on the platform, every post, every page, every document. It will also look into your drive. It'll look into the Buckles Connect shared drive or any committee shared drives that you belong to, and it'll help you find that information. So when you're looking at committees and you want to know more about committees, somebody mentioned before, like read the charges, read their past minutes, get to know what the committees do and what they offer. If you go to the pages link in the top left-hand corner, you're going to see this menu here. If you go to committees and task forces, these pages are all dedicated to the different committees that are active. So if you want to know more about the Adult Services Committee, just go ahead and click on that. It'll give you the overview and the charges. It will also tell you who can join and when the committee meets. So we've updated all this information for 2025. So you have all that right at your fingertips. You can find out about every committee and find out, you know, what they're about in its basic form. And then you want to dive even deeper and go to their agendas and minutes. So you'll see the links over here on the right for agendas and minutes. And there's also a contact form for every committee. And that goes to the committee chairs. So if you have a question about committees and you want to write directly to the committee chairs, you can fill out that contact form. You're also going to find these links over here on the left side. So if we go to agendas and minutes, you'll see these folders here for all the past years. You can just go ahead and click into them and you can read how Adult Services needs to add their minutes and agendas for 2024. If you go into 2023, you can, and they're all, you'll see they're all labeled by date for the meeting. Each meeting has an agenda, and the agenda gets released about a week before the meeting. And then the minutes are always posted in Buckles Connect before or they should be posted before the following meeting. And that will always be posted as a draft and everybody gets to look at them. So you're responsible for reading those minutes before your next meeting as well to make sure that you agree with them or if there's any changes that need to be made. So this is a great way to just learn more about the current committees and see what they do. Some of them are not open to everybody, but you can still read and see what they're doing, what kind of things they're accomplishing. So definitely check out this page. And I got there by going to pages and then committees and task forces. The other big thing that we did this year for our committees is we've created committee portals. So I have dedicated a new portal for every committee that exists in Buckles. So if you are a part of a committee, you will go to your pages link, and in this menu, you're going to see your committee portal listed. And because I'm part of the PR committee, I see the one that's labeled PR committee portal. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I just want to give you a quick rundown of what we've done for the committees this year. Every committee portal is set up in basically the same structure. You have the main page, and you're going to see your committee chairs and your Buckles liaison. You can go ahead and click on these icons to send a message or start a video call. You can schedule a meeting with them. If you click on their name, you'll see their information pop up on their own page. You can find out where they're from and get their basic information. I also have listed the overview and charges again here, just so you have that within your portal and you can just refer back to that. And then at the bottom, we have all the channels within Buckles Connect that your committee is responsible for. So every committee has its own private channel, so that'll be listed first. And at the bottom of each one, it tells you more about the channel, what you do in that channel, who can post, who can join. So every committee has a private channel where you can have discussions, you can post a question, you can post a poll, you can poll your fellow committee members. It's a great way to archive all those chats. That way, when new people join, they can go back and look at those conversations and see what's been asked. And we can search as well. They'll come up in the search. And then in the middle, you're going to see whatever channels your committee is responsible for. So for example, the PR committee, we put out the Did You Know article each month. And this year we are focusing on committees. We're actually going to be sharing all about the different committees. You may have seen the one from January, we did the Youth Services Committee. So again, it will tell us a little bit underneath who's responsible for these things. Youth Services, the Youth Services Committee are the moderators for the Buckles Youth channel. The Tech Services Committee is the monitor for the Buckles Tech channel. So it's a great way to keep the conversation going and stay involved with people who are not necessarily on your committee, but you want to like inform them of what's been going on or ask them questions, start a poll, get some answers before your next meeting, and keep the conversation going. So we also do the marketing and PR channel. So we reach out to the consortium on the whole to see how people handle different marketing and PR situations. It's been a really great resource for our committee to get input from people beyond our committee. And the last one is the committee news channel, because everybody can be involved in the committee news. This is if you, as a committee member, have done something big in your committee, or your committee on a whole has done something, you've created a program, or you just want to share some news, that's where you're going to share it. And it goes out to everybody. So within, I'm just going to refresh this so we can see everything. Within this portal, we have a welcome page, and that basically gives you, again, a rundown of what your responsibilities are as a committee member, what your committee does, what the responsibilities as the committee. We have a projects and assignments page. So we've really fleshed this out. We've been using this portal for a year. We've tested it with the PR committee. We've been using this portal, and we found it to be really helpful to link our spreadsheets and our tables. So we moved on from using a Google spreadsheet, and we use a Google table for our committee assignments. So we can assign something to a project to somebody, and people can review it and comment on it. We get automatic notifications. So I've been able to automate all of that information for our committee, and then we just simply create some links on the pages and link out to that. We've also created documentation for how to use these things. So we've supplied that here as well. So I'm going to be asking the committee chairs this year to really look at these pages and see how you can use it best for your committee. So start looking for those kind of things happening. We also have a content creation page because we create content regularly. We create a lot of content because we are responsible for the social media, Buckles social media platforms. And every portal also has a meetings page. The meetings page is going to show you when you meet, and if you have a virtual link, you'll see your link here as well. So if you can't remember where you're supposed to go or how you're supposed to log on, we're always going to supply that for you here. And we have views into your agendas and minutes folder from your shared drive. So these are only accessible and only viewable by committee members. So you can go in and see your current agendas. You can go in and see your current minutes, review them before your next meeting. And I've also created a interactive attendance sheet for every committee, because if you've been on a committee before, you know that you're always looking to make sure that you have enough people for a quorum. You want to make sure that you have enough people there to make decisions and to actually vote on things and get things done. So I created this for our committee, and I thought it would be really helpful for everybody as well. So you can look into this, see what meetings you've attended, which ones you've missed, and it will automatically calculate if you have enough members for your quorum. So it'll tell you how many you need for to make a quorum for that meeting. And then we have a view into your committee shared drive. As a committee member, you will be automatically added to a shared drive that is viewable and accessible only by committee members. In that shared drive, you can create documents, you can share documents, you can upload things, you can delete, you can move things. That is purely for committee members. Nobody else can see that except a committee member. Whereas I was just showing you before the committees and task forces page group where you could see the agendas and minutes, those are for everybody to see. So once they're finalized, they get put in there to make sure that everybody can see them and read them. Basically, think of your shared drive as kind of like a working drive for you. We have a section that is purely for committee chairs because that's really who it's geared towards, but I should say it's not purely for committee chairs. So it's geared towards, but you can see more information. Everybody can see this. You can see more information as a committee chair, what's expected of them. You can kind of get an idea of what they're doing, and it'll better inform you to do your job on the committee. People have talked about today about different events that you have. You have to request funding for those events. You have to request reimbursement, and then you have to submit a committee update for every system council meeting. So all those forms are readily available for you here. And we have the uploads page, and that page is how your committee chair will go in, upload the agendas and minutes directly into the Buckles Connect shared drive, so they become visible by everybody. And there's also a section at the bottom for all of the different areas within Buckles Connect that you as a committee are responsible for. So there are all of the different folders within Buckles Connect, or maybe pages within Buckles Connect, where your committee posts information. So you can get a better idea of, what is it that you do out there? What is the content that you're actually spreading out to the rest of the Buckles consortium. And then lastly, we have a Buckles events page. So this is just a view of the calendar, the Buckles events calendar. You'll see all the committee events on here. You'll see all the meetings, all the programs that we offer. And then there is a link to the library meeting spaces table where you can see all the different libraries and the spaces that they have available in case you are looking for a space to host a meeting or host an event. That was a really quick rundown. You will see more of this, and you'll see one that is specific to you once the committees are finalized for this year. And I'll be talking to all the committee chairs, so we'll be able to customize this more specifically for your committee to make sure that all of your spreadsheets and everything are shared on here. But what we wanted to do this year was really give you a one-stop shopping portal so that you are able to access anything to do with committees kind of really easily. You don't have to go searching for everything. Does anybody have any questions? So I will be meeting with the committee chairs this year, and I'll be going over it like I said before. If you have any questions, or once that portal is opened up to you as a committee member, and if you have suggestions or ideas, definitely discuss it with your committee and let me know. We want to make your committee work as easy as possible. Darlene, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I didn't want to have background noise while you were speaking.
I appreciate it.
Joseph, thank you very much for that great overview of Buckles Connect and the tremendous and incredible amount of work that you did setting up the committee portals. It's amazing. It's going to be so helpful for committee management, make it easier for new committee members as well as existing members to see what's going on. As you said, it's a one-stop shopping because there is just so much incredible information, and you did a tremendous job pulling it all together. So thank you very much for all your efforts on that and your overview. We are ready to wrap up. So if anybody does have any questions, again, feel free to unmute. You can type it in the chat box. You could always email us after the fact and we'll get it to the right person. So again, I would like to thank everyone for attending today's general orientation. If you're still thinking about joining a committee, you can sign up, please fill out the form and let us know. Thank you for volunteering your time to support Buckles and its committee work. The committees are fabulous. They do amazing work. We could not do it without the help and support of our enthusiastic volunteers. So thank you very much. I don't know if Dave or Mimi has anything else they would like to say before we wrap up.
I just want to say thank you so much for your time this morning. It is so beneficial. We know that we have a great year ahead, and I just can't wait to see what you bring to the table. So thank you.
And
Sure.
thank you, Dave.
Just remember, part of your reason that your institution is part of our institution, the institution we share together, is for that purpose of shared professional development. And regardless of everything else that we talked about today, the future of libraries is dependent on our ability to continue to have folks grow individually, corporately, because believe it or not, tomorrow is going to come whether or not we want it to or not. And many of you are going to have to be the folks who are going to take libraries next year, next 2 years, whatever that happens. And we like to think that your participation today, your participation in libraries, is one of those ways that you're preparing to be the leaders that we're all going to need you to be if we're going to keep this thing called public library going. So thank you for wanting to be a part of this. Thank you for taking the time to do this. And we can't wait to see what you all create in the years to come. Thanks again.
Thanks, Dave. And again, thanks everyone. Thank you to Dave and Mimi and Joseph, Leo, Maria, Jennifer, Sandra, and Mariah. And again, thank you all for attending. Thank you for your support and your enthusiasm. We look forward to having you participate on our Buckles committees. All right, bye everyone. Have a good afternoon.